What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Regulate. Excuse me, I'm just an awful human with the burps. Got the burps. What can I say? His opponent today in the red color, playing as Set. His name is Shelty. The map is Blue Lagoon. And yet again, we see someone not watching my Set gameplay. Guys, say it with me. Say it with me. The best Set build is 2 villagers on food and then 2 villagers on gold. Why? Why is it the best? Because it allows you to do a 4-minute and 2-second advance time with 0 monuments. It allows you to do a 4-minute and 16-second advance time with 1 monument. And it allows you to do a 4-minute and 30-second advance time with 2 monuments. So that's why we do that. Now there is, oh, that's a big spy right there. There is one more other build, which if you really want to get crazy, and that's actually, you put 1 villager on gold first. Boom! Mind-blowing, and it allows you to get something like a 3:34 advance time if you really want to. But in this situation right now, Regulate is playing this early game incredibly well. He's built a second Ulfsark. He's going to be finding the priest over here. He drops a cheeky little ghost building there as he's going to be trying to take this priest out as he's trying to get in front of it and get a whole bunch of damage done. And that's going to be a dead priest in the early game, and that's absolutely huge for Regulate going forward, because not only does that ruin any chances that Shelty's going to have for early game aggression in this game, but also it's only a 2 giraffe spawn, so things get very, very different for an Egyptian player on a 2 giraffe spawn because there's not enough food to advance to the second age. So advancing quickly here, it's going to be really, really tough unless you know what you're doing. And in this case, Shelty does not know what he's doing. But also, in killing that priest here, he did lose his spy, so bit of a thing there. Anyways, we'll see how the game's going to go. Shelty here, he has found a lot of hunt already with his hyena. There is potentially going to be food over on this location. There is not, but there is going to be food right in front of him, so he can just walk there. It's not going to be that big of a deal in the end, but he's still going to have a little bit of a tough time getting a fast advance time and having an abusive early game in this game. So we'll see how things are going to go. He does decide to move forward onto this rhino over here instead of this one over here. A bit confused as to why he's deciding that, but that's what he's going for. And now, moving along, the other thing here is because Regulate went 2 Ulfsarks and probably not planning to go 2 Ulfsarks on this map, he saw it as an opportunity here. He's going to have to adapt a little bit his build to work out how he's going to deal with the early game here playing as Loki. And hopefully he's going to be able to get to the second age relatively quick here. He does have his 3 Ox cards already out on several different layers of hunt here, so he should be completely fine. As we do see the Ulfsark coming over onto this location here, going to be throwing up some walls, having a good time there. Shelty could arguably build a priest here if he really wants to and start converting some animals here if he's a little bit unsure as to how things are all going to go here. But maybe it'd be better to hold off on that one there as the villagers dropping that food in. Shelty wanting to advance here very, very much. He's going to be 5 seconds behind that 3:45. Not a terrible advance time given the state that he's been left in this game, but definitely not the ideal situation here, as the hyena as well going to get caught as well. And you know, some games you just look at Set and you just go, man, Set can be a really, really, really challenging god to play sometimes. There's just some things, some weaknesses in Set that you just have to really know how to deal with. As you do see some priests coming out, and it looks to me like Shelty is going to be going for an early priest pharaoh shifting sands of some variety here, as the pharaoh going to be moving forward, going to be starting to throw some rocks in onto some secondary villages here as the hunt finishing up on this location. There's not that many villages over here, but obviously picking off 3 villages early in the game is going to be very, very useful. As the pharaoh moving forward. And if we take a look at what Shelty's actually seen here, he doesn't really know that he does know. As the shifting sands, will it get used here? The units moving over here onto this location. The Pharaoh coming through to start harassing this spot here, as 3 villagers will get sniped here. 1 down, 2 going down very fast here. The ox cart actually going to come down. We see the villagers getting chased here by those animals, trying to get some path blocking. Only 1 villager kill and an ox cart, and that ox cart didn't matter that much to regulate at all, as the shifting sands is now down here, and we'll see what Shelty's next move in this game is going to be. He does pick off an Ulfsuck there. That's going to be a big, big help, as we do see a barracks getting shot up here with 7 villagers. It's going to go up really quickly, but he's going to have not much economy here coming through for quite some time now, as the Hearser pushing through onto this location, searching for something to do. We do see the villagers now moving back over onto this food here. Potentially Shelty could have left his units over here for a little bit longer, as we do see the raiding cavalry coming in, but playing safe with these units also a very, very smart idea here, as we do see the Hearser trying to scout around, trying to find something. We see an armory getting dropped down as well. Quite a few villagers on gold here for Shelty. Not sure you need exactly that much, or that many, I should say, because the Axemen, they take 10 seconds to train, 40 gold? 30 gold per 10 seconds. It's kind of comparable-ish to a hoplite in a way, maybe a little bit cheaper than a hoplite in terms of gold and train time and all the stuff that comes in there. So maybe a little bit less on gold, but you can see Shelty can build a couple more priests out or get something else going in this game, in the early game. But now this is a problem here, because Shelty doesn't know where to scout his opponent. He doesn't know what to attack at this point. And the early game of a classical age Egyptian fight, a classic fight, as we very much usually refer to it, it's super important to know where your opponent is. And we do see, look at this, Shelty doesn't need to scout it out because he knows it's here. We do see the units coming forward here. Shelty needs to be keeping that Pharaoh alive, as that's super important. Nice micro here from Shelty. We see the priest going after that, throwing Axemen over on the backside of the map. The Axemen going to be taking down the Hearser really, really nicely, as the Pharaoh does end up falling. The priest coming through to try and take the trolls down on the back. You're going to be able to snipe that one, not quite, as it does fall down. This priest over here going to be cleaning up this other troll on this location. The raiding cavalry are coming through, though. They're going to be doing a lot of damage to these Axemen, as the villagers getting pushed off of this location by a cheeky raid there by Regulate. He's playing this one nicely, coming in on multiple different locations. As the villagers coming back, we do see now Shelty saying, look, I'm going to just come forward and take your hunt. I'm going to take your hunt for myself. He moves all of his villagers forward. It's 57 population to 58 population right now. There's not a whole lot here. Shelty is going incredibly all in with this attack here with those villagers in his army here. We'll see how it's going to go. He hasn't really lost all too many. He does have a villager lead right now, but it's not a 6 villager lead. It's a 3 villager lead. So this is going to be a little bit scary here for both Regulate and Shelty at the moment here. I think that Regulate is playing this really smart, just saying, look, you got your villagers in your army. I can just run around and just ignore this for a little bit, as the troll does get sniped down there. Nice play. These units going to be retreating away. Shelty at this point, he's not making any spearmen, which he may desperately need here, as we do see a handful of units going to come over here and start harassing these villagers, but they're very low damage units over here. As a raiding cavalry going to scout around, we do see the villagers in the main base here for Shelty on the pigs. As the villagers here, they have been spending the wood that's been getting gathered on slingers instead of getting that upgrade. So these units going to be retreating away, as Regulate still doesn't have himself Hall of Fames, but he's going to be thinking about getting that fairly soon. 71 population, or 72 versus 73, still very, very close as the Pharaoh pops out over here. One thing missing from Shelty here is a second monument to start spamming animals out. Eating them in his main base right now would be a really, really good way to continue along in this game, as these villagers over here sitting idle. These villagers have been idle for about 2 minutes now. As he's got a rhino right in front of him that he could be eating at this point. Just going to be leaving them here and using them a little bit later. And in fact, you can actually see that Regulate's catching up on villagers without even having picked off a single villager here, it would seem. Maybe one villager was picked off a little bit on this food here. But Regulate here is catching up just because he's been spending his resources fairly consistently, though he is housed right now, so he's going to have to deal with that one there. As the barracks are going to get taken down on this location. Meanwhile, over here, raiding cavalry going to be swinging into the main base of Shelty looking for something to do. We see some houses coming up over here to keep this villager alive. Looks like she got a little bit stuck there as the unit's going to keep coming in. Now, one of the big important things about the classical fight, which I think a lot of Egyptian players forget, is that yes, your units train really fast out of these barracks, but you have to put more barracks down. And that same thing goes for Norse players as well. Everyone seems to forget this, but Regulate's already up to 3, whereas Shelty, he's only got 2, and he's about to lose this barracks in the middle of the map here, which is going to be a big hit to his production. And then Regulate can attempt to start a fight here. If he can get a good surround or something like that, he should be okay. Meanwhile, over on this location, villagers happily gathering food. We do see a granary attempting to get thrown up on this location, but Shelty thinking a bit better of it. Another barracks going to come down. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just drop 3 barracks in his main base right now. Just to keep his production up, as the unit's going to be pushing in onto this location, searching for some stuff. They will see that throw-on axeman is there. The question is going to be, will Shelty notice the wood is not here? Now, one way you can check this is not something that many people know, is you can actually do this on Voobly, and you can see that there's no HP or no circle around the tree, which means that something is getting chopped over there. So it's very unlikely you're really going to check that, but if you really want to get map hacky about it all, you can do that and have some fun with that one there. As a Wadget going to be moving forward. I love the Wadget idea here, as the units here for Regulate going to be moving forward, stealing away Shelty's food on this location. We do have to remember Shelty's also got Gazelle over here, but he doesn't feel comfortable leaving his base. Happily just eating those pigs in his base. Still no husbandry. He's making Wadgets here, which is a little bit dangerous because he probably should be getting himself Shadoof and starting to think about farms, as this longhouse over here going to be getting taken down. The raiding cavalry swinging around the back. The army, which Regulate has constructed now, getting himself medium raiders, is probably a little bit stronger than Shelty. So Shelty does have some good spearmen out at this point. So we'll see how that's going to go, as medium axemen and medium slingers coming through. Hall of Thanes coming through as well. One thing that Shelty is missing in this game, which is incredibly vitally strong, powerful, good, is shifting sands. He used it early against Loki. I actually think, unless you're going for a very early game shifting sands play, and I mean like 4 minutes or even faster, I think saving the shifting sands as a counter to flaming weapons is a really good way to play. As now the Hearser popping across the map, Hall of Thanes is still on the way. We do see the Spearmen going to start taking a fight over there, as the raiding cavalry coming back onto this location. We do see the Spearmen trying to chase them away. Meanwhile, I don't think there's a lot of places they can go. We do see the villagers coming over onto this food right now. The spidey senses might be tingling by Regulate here, as the gold mine is probably just about to expire as well. We do see that the pigs have mostly finished up on this location there. Hammer trolls coming in. The spearmen still looking like they want to start this fight over here, as Shelty coming through onto this location here. He's got his axemen, he's got his spearmen, he's got his slingers. Does he have any armory upgrades in just yet? No armory upgrades for either player here just yet. Nice micro there from Shelty, using those slingers to take down the axeman over there, as the priest Pharaoh trying to push forward, take out those trolls over there, as Hammer Troll coming through. Nice micro there by Regulate, pulling his trolls back there beautifully, as the Pharaoh trying to stay alive here. The Slinger's going to be able to take down those thrown axemen really nicely, but most of the spearmen have fallen here, as the raiding cavalry are going to clean everything else up here. And it looks to me as if Regulate has managed to dismantle the Egyptian classical fight beautifully here, with some really nice positioning in this game. Beautiful one there, as the rest of these units are going to be falling. We do see a little bit of slight damage coming through onto those trolls before the priests do fall, but in the end everything is done there, as now villagers finishing up on that gold, going to be moving forward over onto this gold mine as more units trying to get built out. We do still see relatively equal game in terms of population here, as Regulate has really slowed down on the production. In fact, he may have stopped production completely here, but does he have an armory up is the big question. There's an armory attempting to come up over here, as one Hearser going to come back over onto this location. We see the Hearser coming through onto this location here to try and take out the Shelty villagers, or go straight after the barracks, and this will give some sort of a hint that Shelty's over here. In fact, if we look at Regulate's point of view here. He doesn't actually see that there's no villages here, or there are villages here, but he will be spotting that relatively soon, I'm sure, as the villages do start popping up here. Meanwhile, coming through onto this location, we do see the hammer troll and the iron here coming through here to push these villages off of this hunt, but they can just move back home. We probably shouldn't lose too many of those at this point. Is now Regulate going to be retreating away. We see Bragi on the way. Very terrifying moment for Shelty to be in, because, well, the real important thing here for Shelty, for Regulate, is actually get his military buildings down. He needs some production here to really hit his opponent hard as the longhouse is coming down. Maybe also getting himself some armor upgrades here wouldn't go astray, as Regulate does decide to turn around for some reason. He probably can just sacrifice this hammer troll, in all honesty, turn around, leave that, and let the rest of his units get home. But Shelty does turn off of that location for the time being here, as where did those villages all end up going is the big question here. As they do move into the middle of the map, that's a lot of villages moving here for 500 food. 15 villages for 500 food. Not something I would do very often, but we'll see how it's going to go. As really, kind of the only option here for Shelty is to just try and survive in the classical age against the heroic age of Regulate here, as the Spearman raids coming through, pushing off this gold mine over here. Regulate's got 600 gold in the bank, however, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really mind so long as he can defend this ever so slightly, as the Hersa coming through here on this location as well. As the trolls retreating back, we do see some villagers getting taken down on this location. As the Hersa pulling back here. Husbandry finally coming through for Shelty. Is he getting some farms? Are they cheap farms? Yes, they are. You also have Shadoof here. Shelty trying to surround over on this location. It's still kind of tense for Regulate, though. He's got an advantage in the score. He's got an advantage in the economy. He's probably got an advantage in the military as well. And he has a Mythic Age God Power to boot. But Shelty still has a villager advantage here, so it's not as clear cut as it might seem. That there's only one hero in this fight. There are two Wadgets. Wadgets do have a bonus against myth units, just like every other myth unit, or nearly every other myth unit does. But Shelty realizing probably shouldn't take this fight, as some units going to be coming through onto this location. There is a Pharaoh over here who will be able to take out that battle ball, but with those raiding cavalry over here, Regulate's going to immediately start targeting that Pharaoh down and then go after those villages on this location. Meanwhile, flaming weapons coming through, going to be able to finish off the rest of these units absolutely beautifully here, as Shelty does not seem like he's going to be able to hold on in this game any longer, as he loses his gold mine, he loses his army, and he's got nothing left remaining in this game, as Regulate shows how strong Loki can be. In my honest opinion, I would normally say Set versus Loki is a Set favored matchup, if barely slightly, depending on the skill level of the players. Obviously, at the top level, with the Loki players playing as well as they can, Set players playing as well as they can, it's a very, very close matchup, slightly Set favored, but Regulate made it look like it's no chance here for Set at all. Beautiful play, beautiful control. Shelty has to go back to the drawing board, figure things out. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider heading over to MetaPlays to check out the rest of this series. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.